welcome back in. Just another football show. It is playoff predictions and fan conversations.
Super wild card
weekend. I hate it so much.
I feel like it's super enough.
It's fine.
It's 3 days of playoff football.
I hate the Monday night thing. We've talked about that, though. We are talking to all of our fans coming at you this week over these next couple days. I honestly have no idea when this is posting as I record it, so I'm not going to lie to you. But I'm going to tell you that we are going to have videos like this wherever you're watching it. If you're watching it on Facebook, if you click the link on Twitter that took you to our YouTube channel, if you're listening to a clip of it, which probably isn't this clip, on TikTok, and it led you here. I appreciate you guys coming over and giving it a listen as well. We're going to try to get them all out there. Today, we're talking a little Dolphins-Bills.
Yeah. The rubber match, I think we've discussed that.
It
is the third edition of Dolphins-Bills. The big question, obviously, is the Tua situation. We know that the Bills have been a little bit up and down, right? Yeah. Maybe not as strong, maybe not dominating every game like we thought they would, but the Dolphins right now are, dare I say, floundering.
Yeah.
If not for a win for the Jets, it would be over the Jets, a narrow 2 or 3 or 3 to 5 point victory, whatever it is, over the Jets. This would be a team on a 6-game losing skid, right? So we'll have to see if the Dolphins can right course there. Both of the games that they played prior, you might think the Bills won handily, but
they didn't.
A 2-point Dolphins victory early in the season, and then a 3-point Bills victory there on the 17th of December. I mean, this is going to be a good game no matter what. We just really kind of hope that, hopefully everyone's healthy and able to play in this game, because I think that is going to be a real factor for the Dolphins especially.
Indeed. Talking to a couple of our OG fans, really. Going to talk to Ryan, if you follow us, and potentially him on the old Twitter machine. You've seen a little back and forth. He defends his team. And
whenever
respect.
we're talking about Dolphins fans on Twitter on the show throughout the course of the season, it was Ryan.
We hear from him. We hear from him after we talk about them again. So appreciate that. And then we got to have OG fan, Matt, Bills fan. Always a good time. I'm sure that you're looking at the runtime of this video and seeing it a little longer. It usually is with Matt. We always go a little long with Matt. And there'll be a lot more to conversate with about the Bills and stuff, too. So I'm sure that'll come up. Should we just – we've already fucking killed way too much time. We should probably just get into it, call Ryan, and see how he thinks this game is going to shake out. All right. So now gotta bring on Ryan. He is he's our OG Dolphins fan. We've talked to a few. Ryan's got a busy work schedule going on, so he's not always available to chat with us. But we've had some really fun back and forth on the old Twitter machine this year, so I had to try to work the time out to get him on. Ryan, sir, your team's in the playoffs. Maybe not the perfect scenario that you had envisioned coming into this year. How do you feel heading into Wild Card Weekend? Super Wild Card Weekend.
I mean, if you told me beginning of the season we'd be here, I'd be ecstatic.
Sure.
But you told me 6 weeks ago that we were barely sneaking. It was a miserable last few weeks. Watching this team just shit the bed.
Well, I mean, I think the elephant in the room, as it were, is more of the Tua situation. And I don't even know that I want to say that it's necessarily been watching this team shit the bed, because that seems unfair, sort of, to a team that when he's on the field plays just at a totally different level and seems to be a totally different team.
Yeah, that's fair. But if you the shitting the bed would be the 49ers, the Chargers games where Tua was there the whole game, and
fair point.
They just would not adjust to anything that the defenses were doing, and it was just frustrating, especially after the very first play of the 49ers game, where I'm like, oh heck yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl after this 75-yard one play, and I'm like, fuck yeah. And then the rest of the game was just I don't want to watch this anymore.
Not as great. Yeah,
couldn't really do anything. Yeah, and the team is seems to kind of take these lumps and then just kind of run with it, right? A very streaky team. They just ended this Sunday ended their a 5-game losing streak. Obviously, some of those games without Tua, but losing to the Packers, the Patriots, riling off a 4 or 5 game win streak before that. Three losses. Like, why is this team so streaky? And will they be able to take their one win and streak it into another win? In the playoffs.
Well, I'm hoping they can streak up a few more wins. That's
at least one.
We're all hoping.
I'd love to see you get one more, if I'm being honest with you.
At least one. So
yeah, I want to see a Tyreek and Kansas City revenge game.
I did think we were going to see it, and I wasn't a huge fan of the idea, if I'm being completely frank with you. But so we're rolling into what you said, the rubber match here, right?
Yeah,
we're getting the
this
Dolphins
is the third
Bills
time in a year
3.0 coming up here this weekend. How do you you can't feel great, right?
Whoa. Both of the matches were under 3 points, right? The last one was 3 points. The one before that was a 2-point victory. But I think you can feel good. How you feeling?
It depends on what the news is on Friday about the quarterback situation.
Well, there you go.
If we have Tua, I feel like this could be a close game. Could be another one that we saw last time they met, down to the last second field goal probably. If Skylar or Teddy go, then you can probably see a blowout by halftime. Like, it's going to be miserable if Teddy or Skylar are the starting quarterbacks.
Yeah,
this team's just not good at generating points with those two on the field. Which, and did I see that Mostert was dealing with an issue?
Broke his thumb.
Yeah, broken thumb.
Necessarily ready to go this week? Like, it's what can go wrong will go wrong, right? Like, that's really it's terrible timing for that, because he did seem to be the one semi bright spot in these games that Tua has missed, and the guy that they've sort of leaned on to get stuff done.
Yeah, and it goes back to one of the other mega Jenga pieces that we've been missing while we've been losing is Teron Armstead, who has 4 different injuries right now. That he has hip, toe, pec, all these things, and he's been trying to play through. And so if we get Armstead and Tua back, I love our chances. If neither one go, and especially if Mostert can't go, who ran all over the Bills last time, for some reason we stopped running the ball. That's a question of why they did that is above my pay grade. We have to see who all can go. I'm assuming if it's a broken thumb, Mostert might try to go. I mean, it depends on how big his cast is.
Yeah,
I think Mike McDaniel said he's not sure that he's gonna be out. That Mostert would be out. Excuse me. But like you said, last time that Mostert was out there, or last time he played the Bills, he was running all over the place, right? If there's a weakness, I guess, or something that was working well against this Bills team, it was that run game. And like you said, we're all trying to figure out why they stopped or got away from that. But do you think, if there's no Mostert, do you think Jeff Wilson Jr. can kind of tote the rock and still be as effective, or is it Mostert or bust?
I think Jeff Wilson can do pretty good. I don't think he was available last time they met the Bills, which would have definitely probably gave us a running game the whole game if we had that 1-2 punch. Jeff Wilson's way more physical than Mostert, just doesn't have the speed Mostert has, but Mostert really hasn't had any of the breakaway big plays that he used to have, so he hasn't really relied much on speed. He's been doing a lot of physical hits at the line and at the second level, which is a lot more surprising than I thought he could do. I thought he was just more one cut and gone.
Yeah, that's kind of like the whole team, right? You're learning a little bit more about what they can do. We're learning that, okay, Tyreek is not just catching 60-yard bombs. He's catching the fucking 12, 15 balls a game and making production with that. You're seeing Jalen Wall doing the same. Like you talk about the 1-2 punch at running back, the 1-2 punch at at wide receiver has been as good as we've seen, right? I think they combined for 3,000 yards or something, like some of the best we've ever seen. And then just to have that fizzle over these last couple of weeks, especially during fantasy playoffs when people really need it. Obviously it has to do with the quarterback. Obviously it has to do with Skylar Thompson, a rookie, being in there. But are we going to be able to see these guys be productive when they have been in the past? Are we going to be able to see that if it's not Tua? I mean, obviously, we have a few games where we've seen no Tua and low output from these guys, but it's the playoffs. Like, you have to hit that next gear. Are we going to get that if there is no Tua?
The only way I see us getting that is if Petty plays. Like, when he came in Cincinnati when Tua got that big concussion, he hit a 61-yard bomb to Tyreek. Like, I can see him doing it, but he has a broken pinky, and I think that's on his throwing hand. So how much that affects him, he was dressed and ready to go in an emergency this last week, but I don't know how much he would have done different. I still think it would have been 9-6, even if Teddy was playing. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And I guess decisions like that are on who's in, who's out. When you have to put it all on the line. That comes kind of down to Mike McDaniel, obviously a first-year head coach. Had a very good year, been as fun to watch as any coach. But this is his first head coaching playoff game. This is his first one making those kind of big decisions, and obviously has a ton of decisions, a big pile of I don't know where I lost it there, but big decisions to make here. Do you have faith in Mike McDaniel? Obviously, he started off strong, but the year has kind of waned, and I don't want to say missteps, but there's certainly times where it's like, okay, this guy has been a head coach for 10 years, and now it's like, okay, this guy hasn't been a head coach for 10 minutes. So, how do you feel about having a rookie head coach take you into a matchup with your rival here in the first round of the playoffs?
I feel semi-confident. Like, the team just has a swag that Mike McDaniel has. Granted, sometimes, like this last week, it didn't show where it's just lethargic on the field. But especially when it's fully healthy, when stuff's clicking right, you see the swagger of the head coach. Granted, he is a first-time head coach. Dolphins were the only one to interview him. And so he got one interview, one job, and he's green, for lack of a better term. Like, he's going to take his bumps and bruises as a head coach. They all do. And we managed to get through while him taking his bumps and bruises, but how far is it going to take us? I'm hoping it takes us a little further. We haven't won a playoff game since 2000. Yeah, 2000. So 22, 23 years now.
Yeesh.
So I'm hoping we can at least get past that hump and knock out the Bills, which don't look as invincible as they did the first few weeks of the year.
I'm lying.
Yeah, absolutely right on that. The thing that, like, you talk about, the Dolphins have swagger, which we can all see. I'm 100% with you in that. That comes from the head coach. The thing that the Bills have right now is momentum and energy, right? Vibes, positive, whatever, is going on there. We saw that in full effect on Sunday with, starting off the game with the kickoff return. How does your team combat that? How does your team, kind of slow them down? Obviously, they're going to be in their house in Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park there in New York. How do you combat that kind of momentum that they've had the last week?
The main answer I can give you is keep Josh Allen off the field. Like, just run the ball. If you're going to go passing, just do quick hitches, like get 10, whatever. Don't go for the big play. I know Mike McDaniel likes to get down to like the 50-yard line, then try to go a streak to Tyreek or Waddle. Like just don't focus. Like, take the big plays out of your playbook until you need it. Keep Josh Allen off the field and that offense as much as possible. Control the momentum is what they really need to do.
Yeah, they're definitely they're walking into a buzzsaw, right? Yeah. Like, it's very difficult to. It's not a position that anyone envies, and there are certain things you probably can't say out loud about it. But, Ryan, I'll even be nice and give you like a double shot at giving me a score and how you think this game goes. Give me a little game flow. How do you see this one going and a score? I understand that as we record this, I said it on the Wednesday episode. As we talked to you, we were not going to know the quarterback situation for sure for your team. So I'll let you give me two scores if you'd like on if Tua plays or if it's the other guys.
All right, if Tua plays, I feel like it's going to be like a 24-21 Miami win. I'm going to go out there, say they pull it off. If Tua doesn't play, it's going to be like 40-7, and the Bills are going to destroy us. So
It's going to look worse than the national championship.
It's not.
It's going to look probably roughly the same.
It's really not. Like, that was rough to watch.
It was. Especially being in TCU country right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, all right, Ryan. Well, we appreciate you taking a little time to talk to us. Glad you could find the time. And I think even if this game doesn't go the way you want it to, I think good things are on the horizon for this team. It's some really tough luck, and I look forward to having a conversation with you hopefully in the preseason about the future
maybe next
of
week.
this team.
You're writing off
I'm
the
sorry.
team.
You're right. Maybe next week. Maybe we'll call you next week and we'll talk about
next week.
Wow.
Dude, like I said, you're mouth to God's ears. I would love to be talking to you next week. Let's get these Bills out of the playoffs.
Exactly.
I'll be rooting for you, sir. All right, man. We appreciate you. We'll talk at you later.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Indeed.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Anyone who listened to the podcast for any period of time knows that when we're talking Bills, we have to call Matt. There was one time we tried not to, and the football gods said no. And we've never tried again ever since. Matt, sir, your Bills rolling into the postseason as anticipated in the preseason. How is it going, sir?
I'll tell you what, man. Every single day I feel like we get better and better news about DeMar Hamlin, and so every single day has just been a better and better day the last week and a half here. So personally, I'm doing fantastic.
You ain't lying. That's something we'll probably have to touch on here. That's I love all the good news, the terrible, scary circumstance, all of that. I'm sure you were watching the game in real time, and it was a whole experience for you that's probably different than it was for some other people being a Bills fan and how that all shook out. But glad to see how everything has progressed from that point in time. And I just know he's going to be sitting in a box at one of your games, and it's going to just boost the hell out of the team's morale. It's going to happen.
Just getting better every single day, and golly, isn't that all we can ask for?
Indeed. That's all any of us can ever ask for. You ain't lying about all that. So you're playing the Dolphins. How do you feel about that?
I'm not sure. I want to know who their quarterback is going to be.
You and everybody else, sir. Everyone that we've talked to, that's been the golden question.
So let's look at this. Tua has been out with a concussion since, December 26th. And then Teddy Bridgewater hurt his finger on his throwing hand, so that's a bad. And then Skylar Thompson, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
He got knocked out of this last game. He was able to come back and finish it, but that leaves his status somewhat up in the air. And then number 4 is Mike Glennon. Are we going to have a Mike Glennon sighting in Buffalo, New York in the year of our Lord 2023 in the playoffs?
Yeah.
You know, I laugh because I sarcastically earlier in the week said something to Ryan about how I wasn't sure if he had heard, but that Patrick Mahomes was the oldest starting quarterback in the AFC side of things, because I have seen nothing but that particular statistic on the old Twitter machine. And Ryan said, well, what if Mike Glennon starts?
If Mike Glennon starts, it upsets the entire apple cart.
It really does.
He's the wild card.
It really was the best possible response to my question, so I enjoyed it.
That honestly is part of the reason I've been bookmarking a lot of those tweets when I've seen them.
You ready to go back?
God, I am as petty as they come. Okay, I will hurt myself for eternity so I can be petty to another person for 5 minutes. That's how I live my life. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I think that we are in a really good place right now. The run game has drastically improved the second half of the season, which has been wonderful. Passing game is still the passing game, pretty much every single time. And then apparently special teams is really good.
Turns out.
Something's happened there. Yeah, Nyheim Hines with the two kickoff returns for touchdowns last week. Apparently the first time in something like 3 years and 3 months. Josh Allen mentioned that in the in his
the last one was October of 2019. Micah Hyde returned an onside kick against the Dolphins for a touchdown to seal a game.
It checks out to me. So, it seems to be that the Bills have a big boon or big boost of vibes, energy, whatever you want to call it.
I feel you.
But it feels like that the team has come together, rallied together around DeMar Hamlin, who, like you said, we keep getting better and better. He's posting on Twitter. I know that that has been a big relief, certainly, to a lot of Bills fans and NFL fans and sports fans around the world. But this Bills team seems to have rallied around that in this game on Sunday, the one game we've had since the incident. They just kind of were coming out on a whole nother level. So is that kind of extra extraness, is that going to be something that's going to be able to be sustained, something you're going to be able to carry into this playoffs, through the playoffs? Is that something that's going to be able to keep the team going?
I think it will. So we, didn't play our best game this past Sunday. This game was tied at halftime. The Patriots came to play. They knew that they were, it was already the playoffs for them. They had to win to get in, really, because they had so many other things that had to go right for them to get in otherwise. But this game was tied, and they played us close, they played us hard. But part of that, I think, was because we had like a walkthrough practice on Wednesday, and it was a short week, even with obviously we didn't play a full game on Monday night. So we came out and we didn't play our best ball in the first half. But one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that every single year, every single season that Sean McDermott has been our head coach, one game at least, the Bills have gotten absolutely blown out, absolutely manhandled, absolutely thrown to the curb and stomped upon like 6 different redheaded stepchilds. That has happened every single year until this year. You look through our schedule, you look through our games, and you see that the best opportunity for that to happen was the Ravens game. We were down something like 20-10, 20-3 in the first half, got a little bit closer in the second half, and then won on a last-second field goal. But this is a team that has learned to weather the lows to put themselves in better position for the highs. And when you're able to control that, when you're able to not just ride the roller coaster of emotion, when you're actually able to be in control, you have a much better chance of being in every single game. We have been in every single game. We've lost a total of 3 games by a total of 8 points. I mean, it's not like we are, getting manhandled by any means. So with that, as we take the energy from the progress that DeMar is having and wanting to play for him and wanting to win, to do it for him, I think we're in the best possible position we've been in the entire McDermott-McBean era to do that, because we have fully learned how to wrangle in our emotions, positive and negative, to turn them all into positives on the field.
Yeah, and that's the extra kind of oomph that good teams need to get and turn into great teams. They need to be able to overcome adversity, and fuck if there has not been adversity for this team.
Goodness,
year,
you're telling me.
And overcome, like you said, overcome the lows, and even having such high expectations has kind of been twofold, right? It has been dangerous. It's made Bills the hunted, if we want to borrow.
I don't even know that expectations is the correct word. Like it's a level above expectations.
We were crowning them. When we sat down here and we talked to Matt preseason, we were crowning this Bills team, and here we are. They've lost.
And then the entire NFL looked at them and said, if you want to crown them, then crown the ass.
Yeah, and for the most part, they have so far. But the team that will stand by and say, ain't no fucking way, is this Miami Dolphins team, right?
We'll try.
Dolphins fans were as loud as anyone when they beat the Bills, and all the extra stuff after about, the heat and this and that, and Miami fans wanting to screech and make dolphin noises all they wanted to. They really saw this Buffalo Bills team as a rivalry, as a heated rival, and I'm sure the Bills team didn't think anything of them. But the 2 games this year, one was decided by 2 points in Miami's favor, and one was decided by 3 points in the Bills' favor. So this could be a lot closer than we actually think. A lot of people are quick to write the Dolphins off, but I think this could be a little bit a little bit closer than we might be thinking.
It might be, but again, and here's the thing. I'm going to overstress it, and I'm going to be accused of that, and that's fine. But you cannot talk about this game without talking about the quarterback situation for Miami, because that has been the thing, because if you are not scared of the quarterback, if you're able to, make a light box, and that's the other thing, Raheem Mostert broke his hand.
Yep.
And so you're not scared of Tua running, because Tua is a phenomenal running quarterback. When he gets loose, he can burn you. And Raheem Mostert burned us in really both games, but especially the second game against the Dolphins, because we were more keyed in on and focused in on stopping the pass. And so if we don't have to worry about the run as much, they still have other talented guys, and we definitely don't have to worry too much about the pass if it's Skylar Thompson or Mike Glennon, or for that matter, Teddy Bridgewater. If you don't have your best out there against the best in the playoffs, then I'm not as worried. I think it might be, closer than the 10.5 spread that's currently out there, but I would be remiss if I didn't think the Bills were, and I know we won't get into official predictions until later, but to say anything closer than a full, touchdown win for the Bills, I think is somewhat delusional, which, to be fair, is Dolphins fan specialty.
That's true.
Yeah, like I said, we've already talked to our Dolphins fan, and I'll tell you, like, I gave him the opportunity to pick 2 scores, because at this point, at this time of recording, we just don't know who the quarterback or what's going on is, and he feels, like he said, he feels the same way, that it's a story of 2 different games depending upon who's back there. And I'll tell you what, the scores were drastically different based upon who the quarterback is, and I don't blame him at all. That's absolutely the case.
The other thing on the Bills side is, obviously we're missing some guys. DeMar Hamlin obviously done for the season, but Micah Hyde has been out the whole season.
This is part of what I wanted to ask you about.
Outside of those, season-ending injuries, everyone else who's been on the injury report played last week. They played 2 days ago. We had a fully healthy roster outside of those guys who we've lost for the season. And so, that's the other thing for us. We are getting healthy at the right time. I do, worry a little bit about who we're going to slot in for, DeMar Hamlin, because he was already a second string guy behind Micah Hyde. But Dean Marlowe started in place of him this past Sunday and played pretty well, played okay. He's a guy who used to be in our system. We ended up trading for him at the trade deadline from the Falcons to bring him in. And so, we are getting healthy at the right time. So, you've got not only these worries for the Dolphins on their side of things, but you're going up against as healthy a Bills team as anyone has seen all season, which that's got to scare you a bit.
As I say, if there is a weakness for the Bills, or a lower point in the rankings here, it is their defense against the pass. It's middle of the road. They're 15th. Allowing 214 yards per game. But as you pointed out, there's some injuries, obviously. Micah Hyde's situation there doesn't help. Losing DeMar Hamlin like this as well. But that's your weakness against the pass, and that's the strength of Miami. Now, obviously, we talked about the quarterback situation plenty. Any fear about getting thrown all over, thrown out of the park?
Absolutely not, and I'll tell you why. Even if plenty of yards get put up, let's look back to the Chiefs game, week 6 or week 5 or week 6, whichever one it was. Both Juju Smith-Schuster and Travis Kelce had over 100 yards receiving in that game. And I'm trying to look who won that game. Oh, it was them Buffalo Bills. Part of the reason, because we still were putting pressure where we needed to. We were allowing things to happen that were going to happen anyways, but we were keying in. We had multiple interceptions on Patrick Mahomes, including 1 and 3rd down in the end zone, in the red zone. And so when we're keying in on the pass like we do, for teams that are good at passing, like the Patrick Mahomes, like, the Dolphins have been this season, especially when Tua plays, we're willing to bend and not break. You can go ahead, throw for 300 yards on us, but we're not going to let you get into the end zone every single time down the field, where you're going to have to settle for 3. You're going to have to put the ball in harm's way down there when we are able to, kind of condense the field and shorten the field. So it's fine if Mike Glennon, Skylar Thompson, Teddy Bridgewater, or, even, Tua wants to throw for 350 on us, that's fine. You're going to throw for 2 interceptions as well. And so that's the reason why I am not as worried, because we are very good at taking away one thing or the other. Let's go back to the Titans game in week 2. We completely took away Derrick Henry. Absolutely took him fully and completely out of that game. Were they able to pass on us? Yeah, absolutely. They were able to put some yards up on through the air. But we are not worried. We are not scared, especially with Mostert out. We are not scared of the Dolphins running the ball at all. So we are going to be keyed in fully on the pass. I fully believe that we'll be able to shut it down. And I think that it is near certainty that the Dolphins will have truly and completely no answer for what the Bills have going on defense.
So I wanted to before we make you pick a score and get you out of here for the week, I wanted to ask you, because I haven't actually had this conversation with a Bills fan the way my life's went down. I do have a couple Bills fans in my life. I just haven't had a chance to talk to them. I wanted to get your opinion on how the NFL handled this 1 seed situation as a Chiefs fan. I'm just curious as to where your mind's at with it. If you think that this is good enough, if you're upset about it, I'm curious how your mind is sitting with how this particular. And I know it's down the line, right? We're not dealing with that right now. We are focused. That's the answer. But I'm just curious. How you feel about how that all shook out and what they decided to do.
I think they made what they felt was the best of a very, very bad situation. Yeah. My argument when I've talked with Chiefs fans, when I've talked with Bengal fans and they feel slighted or whatever, is I just say, yeah, but none of your players died for 9 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and so at the end of the day, that's
bigger picture.
That's what I keep coming back to is DeMar is alive. DeMar is thriving comparatively to where he could have been. Mm-hmm. Now, one interesting argument that I have is if the Bills and the Chiefs meet up in the AFC Championship game, both teams will be 15-3. So then, if you're going by normal scheduling, decisions, you'd then go to head-to-head this season if we happen to play to decide who would get home field, which, if I remember correctly, I was at the game. I was physically present watching from like the 30-yard line. The Bills did. And so to me, I think it would make sense for 2 teams with the exact same record who played this season to give home field to whoever it was that happened to win that head-to-head matchup. Neither here nor there. One of the things that I keep coming back to when I am having those discussions, especially with Bengals fans who talk about, they have rules in place for this and they just ignored them, is yes, they do. As you guys know, I've talked to you guys about it before. I'm a rules nerd. I read the entire rule book every offseason. I read through it throughout the season, and I look up things, and I'll go over things and look at. And there's 3 different rule books. There's one for how just things are run in general. There's one for how the rules are during the game. There are different rule books for those situations. Every single rule book at the very beginning has, usually in the first or second paragraph, a paragraph that says any decisions that need to be made to alter or interpret these rules is at the full discretion of the commissioner, who will have the final say.
Yeah, most employee handbooks at workplaces have the exact same clause.
Yeah,
it's CYA. Yeah.
So I think that there was no perfect opportunity. I wish that we could have said, hey, we have the same amount of losses and we beat them. We should get the 1 seed. I understand why the NFL didn't do that. But there is nobody in the league that I truly, truly fear as I think we'll lose that game. I think we can lose games to the Bengals, to the Chiefs. We could lose on Sunday to the Dolphins if they come out and play inspired and we fall flat. We've seen that before. That's why you play the game. But there's truly, truly nobody in this league that I am completely scared of. And we could play the Chiefs 3 times in their house if that's what it takes. I think that we have the team, we have the mindset, we have the motivation to win it all this year, and that has not changed from the preseason.
Sure, that's very well put. I don't disagree with anything that you said there. Like I said, just want another perspective on it. I appreciate you providing it. All right, man. Give me a prediction. How's this game gonna go? I'll let you give me two if you want to. Yep, I'll give you two. I'll give you two.
If you gave it Dolphins fan one.
I will. That's absolutely fair. I will give you two.
Fair.
If Tua plays, 37-17 Bills. If anyone else plays, I'm going to go with 42-3 Bills.
Okay. Well, I mean, you were close on score if anybody except for Tua plays. I'll give you that part.
Yeah, you and Ryan are Dolphins fan, but basically felt the same way if Tua doesn't play this game.
He had him a touchdown instead of a field goal, but pretty close.
Here's the thing: last year in the wild card, we played against a pretty healthy Patriots team and won 47-17.
That was a beautifully played game. One of the best football games I've seen a team play.
Literally a perfect game. Every single drive, we just went and scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
it just seemed like a good idea at the time.
Indeed. All right, sir. We appreciate you popping on with us. I anticipate giving you a call next week.
Probably talk to you next week.
If I had to bet on it currently.
I think that would make some sense.
And I think next week we're going to be talking about a really, really interesting. I don't even want to call it fun, but we're going to be talking about an interesting football game. That's if I had to predict it. So, all right, man. We appreciate you popping on with us tonight. We will probably talk to you next week, I guess.
I'll pencil you guys into
You'll make some time for us. We very much
somehow, some way.
I don't want to have to try to call somebody else and then get you to go to a Pizza Ranch parking lot, and it's a whole process. We don't want to do that. We'd like to have you just schedule.
That's deep in the lore.
Works for me.
It is deep in the lore. It's anybody who gets it gets it. If you know, you know. That's what the kids say.
Hey, ain't that the truth?
All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. Thanks.
All right, and there he goes. We knew Matt was going to be a long interview, guys. He always is. Love Matt. Love having him around. As much as this budding rivalry has become between his Bills and my Chiefs, I still love Matt. And if the Chiefs aren't doing it, I'd love to see the Bills do it.
Yeah, it was. Obviously came out as confident as can be. There's the question mark, the still swirling question mark about the quarterback situation, which both of the fans, Ryan and Matt, both brought up.
It's tough to record this early in the week, guys, but, man, we just got to get this in.
That's going to be something to keep an eye on.
Got to get it done. All right, so make sure you guys are following wherever you found this, be it YouTube, be it Facebook, Twitter, some clips on TikTok, Instagram. We are doing all kinds of things there. Make sure you're following us in those places, and we're still going to be putting out content on all those through the whole playoffs. We're having some fun. If you're finding this somewhere and you're not listening to the podcast, you can find us anywhere that you download your podcasts. Everyone's got a preferred podcast method. It's easy to find. Just Another Football Show. Look us up. We have fun every week. We play some fun games. We have some fun. I really do believe that it's a fun listen to. We've got a lot of fans that would tell you that it's a really good listen to. So give us a listen. If you're not yet, we would very much appreciate it. That's going to do it for us this particular preview. Make sure you guys are checking out the other five games. We've got previews up with fans for all of the games this weekend.
Super wildcard weekend.
If they're not up yet, they will be. Make sure you guys are checking back. Follow us on Twitter. They will be going up there. Facebook, they'll be going up there. As soon as they're available, you'll see them. Join the Facebook group. It's all there. We would appreciate it if you'd do it. And until next episode, this has been Just Another Football Show.
See ya.